So the topic for this morning is breaking tags and the follow-up that needs to be done when you have a broken tag. And really, this ties in with our surplus reduction initiative for the company. So I drew like a little schematic here, um, just basically showing, when we have tag product, it's usually non-stock that we're bringing into our branch for a specific sale. And the tags can get broken a couple different places. They can get broken on the PO or transfer side, which we'll talk about. Kind of presents one set of challenges. The PO gets broken or the transfer gets broken, but the customer still wants the product. Then you got to make sure you're getting the product in for the customer. But I think what happens more often is we do bring in the tagged product, the special non-stock, and then the customer says, hey, I don't need this anymore. It got here too late, ordered the wrong thing, whatever. And then we break the tag on the sales order side, and potentially, we can get stuck with some non-stock product. So that's why we're going to talk about kind of the follow-up steps involved with breaking tags. See if I'm missing any points here. Yeah, so to me, that's really the surplus connection, is we don't want to get stuck with non-stocks that we've brought in for customers that no longer want them. So first off, there are a couple different ways to break tags. It can happen on the PO or transfer side, but I'm going to focus on kind of the sales side here. So I've got a dummy sales order created, and you can see on my second product, it says item has been procured. So let's say for whatever reason, customer no longer wants this product, and I need to break the tag. So then I click on the product, I click into the schedule screen, and you can see, sure enough, this product is tagged to a purchase order, it says over here. So I'm going to show you kind of my method, which I think is the cleanest and kind of easiest to think about. There are other variations, but here's how I think. So, okay, this one product, customer no longer wants. I'm going to change the quantity type from T to S. Okay. Now I've broken the tag, but this product is still on my sales order. So now the question is, does the customer still want this product? And the reason I broke the tag is I just need to get it a different way. Or does the customer no longer want this product? So if they no longer want the product, then either if I'm already in the schedule screen, I could just come over to status and type X, or use the drop down and choose X, cancel. And really, that's the cleanest way to remove the product from the sales order. Other options are just, going back to the body and deleting it. I also see people put that product to a bid status. But by doing what I showed you there, it really leaves the best trail.
Hey, Matt.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's John Murray. Hey, I know that sometimes that's an immediate issue for purchasing, because if that purchase order has already been placed, they don't know to cancel that order. So you have disconnected it, but we could very well still receive that product.
Hold on to that thought. Yes, but good. So again, and I put my head together with Eileen this morning, and we're both agreed that canceling in this way leaves the best kind of audit trail, if you will. To John's point, so now, so I kind of broke it out. So now kind of two scenarios, right? If the customer no longer wants the product, then we have a purchase order or a transfer out there to deal with. So let me go back here for a second. So in my example, I broke the tag. It always goes to another screen. Hold on a sec. There we go. So I broke the tag, but the purchase order is still out there. So I want to make sure if I no longer need this product, we want to try to get that PO canceled if possible. If the PO is already in transit or maybe has already hit my dock, well, then I got to receive the PO and then deal with returning the product back to the DC or the vendor. Again, assuming this is a non-stock product, not something I'm not going to sell. To John's point, after breaking the tag on the sales order, if you leave the product on the sales order, if you don't cancel it, then it's going to trigger purchasing to create another PO or transfer to bring that product in for the customer. One more note, if it was a transfer, then we probably have a little bit more control over it than a purchase order. So if it was a transfer that got created for another branch to pick and send you this product, then please reach out to them and see, has that order been picked? Has the transfer been picked, but it hasn't been shipped? Let's try to do what we can to cancel it so that we don't have to deal with the product coming into our branch and then sending it back. Again, on the other hand, if we broke the tag because maybe we did have it on a PO or a transfer and the DC or the other branch said, oops, I really don't have it, or it's coming from a vendor, it's going to take 10 days and the customer needs it like Monday, those would be some other scenarios why we're breaking a tag. But if the customer still needs the product, then of course we need to make sure that we're getting that product another way for the customer. So what is pretty new, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, we started giving the managers either job queues or reports they got to choose, showing the broken tags each day. And we'll look at some in a minute. But really, the main purpose of that is the follow-up steps. Again, if we broke a tag, but the product did come to our branch, then let's make sure we send that product back, for example. So I get the one daily for Broomall, which is kind of my home branch. So let me go into that. So yesterday, there were 3 broken tags for Broomall, and each one was a little bit different. So from the job queue, or if you're getting the report, you'll have links. I usually just start off going into the sales order. So it's an S8598, S8598. So I'm going to drill into the sales order. Sure enough, that's the first product. Aha! What first catches my eye is that this order is in a bid status. Well, you can't procure something in a bid status. So this was a call when complete or some kind of other open order status. And then it got put to a bid status, presumably because the customer no longer wants the product. But from the product, I can drill into the history ledger to kind of see what its story is. Okay, so it looks like we did manage to send this out to the customer. And let me see for a second. So it was on this PO ending in 8184.
Hey, Matt, it looked like that was a sales order to a different customer.
Thank you. So Yeah, I'm kind of jumping around, but we did receive the PO in. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Right. It went out to Hometown Heating and Cooling. Thank you, Justin. I noticed that earlier when I was looking at this. Sorry for jumping around. Yeah. So the sales order originally, we had a sales order to Heatwave, managed to bring the product in, and then gave it to another customer. I don't know if Heatwave and I already forgot the name of the other customer are like related, one and the same. This one seems like it worked out. We brought in a non-stock and managed to give it to a customer. Maybe no harm, no foul on this one. But those are the things I'm checking for is, if the product did come in, am I going to be stuck with it or do I need to send it back? Let's look at this next one. L93504. L93504. When I come into this next sales order, okay, sales order is column complete, but if I cruise through here, I will not find an L93504. If you go into the change log, you will see that Nick deleted this product off of the sales order, breaking the tag. So for this one, I'm going to need to hop into inventory inquiry because I can't drill from the sales order. So L93504, L93504. And this is Broomall. Again, history ledger. Okay. So yeah, on a transfer, looks like, was that last week? We brought it in from King of Prussia. Over here in the upper right, I can see there's nothing open. I could also go into the future ledger. So at this point, it looks like, we brought in this product. I can see we're not selling. This is not a common product. The only place this product looks like it's doing anything is that we stock it in King of Prussia. Again, history ledger, future ledger, inventory inquiry are the three screens I tend to look at when researching anything. So in this example, it seems like this product just needs to go back to King of Prussia. I'm not going to go into the third example. It's a little bit more complicated. It involves Downingtown as a pricing branch, Broomall as a shipping branch. I can if you guys want. At this point, I'm going to let you unmute yourselves and we can kind of get into the discussion side of it. But I wanted to present kind of, broken tags, the issues they can create, and kind of the tools you have to kind of see what's going on with the product and make sure if the product did come into your branch and it's no longer needed, we want to get rid of it. And then also, if opposite scenario where DC didn't have it, other branch didn't have it, it was going to get there too late. Then in that scenario, if the customer still wants the product, we want to make sure that we procure it or get it through another path.
I got a question, Matt.
Shoot.
If you have a customer that's canceling an item or an order and you can catch it in time and cancel the PO, you break the tag and cancel the PO like you did, would you still have to reach out to the purchaser to make sure that whoever's sending that item would know not to send it any longer? Because canceling the PO would just cancel it in our system, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe John could weigh in. My understanding is we really want purchasing in the loop whenever we're doing something with a PO. John, if you want to, there's probably
absolutely. There is a little gray area with that because there are times when it's just going to be better for you to call and cancel the purchase order. Ideally, we would like the purchasing team to cancel the purchase order. So you want to reach out to them initially. As you get comfortable with your purchaser, you're going to know that there are certain vendors or certain times, like a direct shipment. There are certain times when it is going to make more sense for you to cancel the PO and alert your purchasing team. But ideally, the purchasing team will cancel the PO for us. So it's critical to let them know out of the gate.
Yeah. But
it's a great question.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's always better to have an extra layer with purchasing involved, just so they're in the loop, since they probably got the email from the vendor and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I think ideally you jump on these things as fast as possible to prevent them from shipping, because once it comes in, it's just like so much extra work. You got to receive this product that you don't even need, and then get the RGA to send it back. And
so I'll tell you one thing. A lot of branches, there's a frustration across some counters because we ask ourselves, hey, why do I have to charge a customer who has an account with us? Or even a COD? Why do I have to charge the COD customer if I'm getting something from Allentown? Right? That's especially down here where we get a truck every night in Pennsylvania and Maryland.
Yeah.
And I had to come back and I said, well, listen, a bad habit that we have across counters, and that's the purpose of some of this training that Matt's doing for us, which is great, is that as an associate on the counter or manager on the counter, especially when we're busy, I can only speak for locally. We have a bad habit of canceling that order, not doing a return for the order. So we take it off the customer ticket and then we leave it. We walk away. And what's happened over the years with that is that we have a lot of inventory that ends up making its way to our branch, and it hides in nooks and crannies because the warehouse person gets it, but it's not for a sales order. So they put it in a random place. And then years go by because we're not keeping on top of several things. Last effort would be, as the warehouse sees products, to say, hey, that's not something we normally sell. Let's do a little poking in and, kind of like a spring cleanup where we try to send stuff back to vendors. But the initial real hit of that needs to come from the counter, where we make it our habit that we say, customers canceling this, I need to return this, cancel it or return it. So that's a big thing that we really have to focus on across our counters. I was just as guilty, especially when I started. It didn't even make sense to me. So that's why I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in Broomall yesterday. I was talking with DJ or somebody, but I said, being in wholesale a lot of years, my take is kind of, routine sales and all of that certainly takes time and effort. But it's like whenever we're dealing with something exceptional, it takes more time and effort, and it stinks. But it's like at the same time, it's going to take you 20 minutes, whether you do it today or tomorrow. And I know we're always jamming, but I'm just like, man, as soon as we can jump on these things so that they don't pile up, the better.
Well, and there's repercussions, right? Because number one, if there needs to be a restocking fee or freight back to the place, you may not charge the customer for that. Granted, there are times when we're not going to charge the customer for that if it was our fault, whatever. There are extenuating circumstances, but you miss that opportunity. If we go ahead and take that right off of the customer, they have no onus in ordering incorrect material that now we have to pay for to ship back. And there's no profit. There's only loss in that for us, and that's important. And then over time, the longer we wait to send it back, the higher the restocking fee is, if they'll even take it back at all.
Yeah, this was from my presentations earlier in the week. ties in very much with return non-stocks, and I just used a similar schematic, but I'm like, oh my gosh, potentially we're handling a product 4 times, if we bring it in and it's not needed. And then, like you said, the freight charges, the restocking charges. Yeah.